scored?
Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride. Wait, why does my face look like that?
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
I've taken 25 selfies in the last 10 minutes.
26.
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6.
Eagle Eye TV has done a great job.
And welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6.
We are just having a great time here in Auburn, Alabama. The party is not over yet.
Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
Good evening, Auburn family, and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6. My name is Lucas Hazelrig.
And I'm Sophie Porter. Thank you for joining us.
Over the weekend, the Auburn men's basketball team did their last dance at the Final Four in San Antonio, Texas. But the Auburn family got to dance back at home, cheering them on from Neville Arena. Eagle Eye reporter Sophia Weber attended the watch party and has the story.
Auburn fans who couldn't make the trip to San Antonio this weekend for the Final Four were still in luck.
Auburn Athletics announced on Tuesday that they would be opening the doors to Neville Arena for a free watch party.
It's a fantastic thing. We live locally but can't travel to San Antonio. Be able to come over here with the rest of the Auburn fans, and it is a fantastic experience being here. We have season tickets, so we get to experience the jungle for every game except the ones away.
In high spirits, fans lined up as early as 2 p.m. for the 5 p.m. tip-off. Many people spoke about how this opportunity allowed the Auburn community to come together, and the free admission made it possible for families that may not have been able to afford a game otherwise. Staff member of Neville Arena, Eric Kennedy, had this to say.
This season in itself has just been, in one word, I guess I'd say amazing, because it has always brought people together. Like, this season is like, oh my God, look around. It brought millions, let's just say millions of people together, not necessarily what's in here now.
There was a roller coaster of emotions as the game was underway, but the watch party was just that, a celebration of Auburn men's basketball and their historic run. For Eagle Eye TV, I'm Sophia Weber.
The Tigers did return to the loveliest village on the Plains on Sunday and held a celebration inside Neville Arena for their historic season. It was a heartfelt moment for the departing seniors and the Auburn family that attended. So a big War Eagle to our men's basketball team.
The Auburn Vintage Market was set to have their first event last Friday, which would feature approximately 30 vendors showcasing a wide variety of hand-picked vintage clothing, accessories, and items. The market on the Haley Concourse was set to last from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., but was shut down early by the university due to an issue with their permits. Eagle Eye's Courtney Webster has the story.
After weeks of preparation and marketing, Auburn Vintage Market was set to have their first event on the Haley Concourse today from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. But by noon, the market was shut down by the university.
Last night, we drove for probably about 7 hours coming to Auburn to traveling vintage markets. Auburn's probably one of the farthest locations we've gone, so it was kind of a risk. So today when they decided to shut us down, it to it, and a lot of people traveled really far for this event, and it's just kind of inconsiderate for them to shut down last minute.
More on this story from Eagle Eye TV and the Auburn Plainsman later.
to university officials for a statement regarding the shutdown, but has not received a response yet. More on the story later. The Fight Against Suicide and Amateur Boxing exhibition meant to bring the community together and promote mental health awareness. They had their inaugural event in Auburn last week at the Bottling Plant Event Center in Opelika. The Fight Against Suicide hosted events all week to promote mental health, including a seminar at Sigma Nu, the weigh-in event on Wednesday, and a free True 40 yoga class at Town Creek Park Pavilion on Thursday. Eagle Eye's Jack Sublette attended the big fight that took place later that day and tells us more.
We're here in the Bottling Plant Event Center here in Opelika, where behind me, we're about to see the very first Fight Against Suicide here in Auburn.
For 5 years, the Fight Against Suicide has been on a mission to raise awareness for mental health. While not officially affiliated with Auburn University, Auburn students made contact with the organization to bring it here. We spoke with event organizers to learn more.
Yeah, the Fight Against Suicide was originally started in Athens, Georgia, and has since been brought to Bama, and now is for the first time in Auburn. It's a boxing philanthropy event, so we're bringing in a bunch of fighters. They've been training for months, and half of the proceeds are going to building a mental health wing at the East Alabama Medical Facility, and then the other half is going to Samuel Asbury Foundation in honor of a son who committed suicide in the past couple of years.
As the lights dimmed and the fighters entered their corners, the Fight Against Suicide's founder and director, David Edmiston, told us his story.
So back in 2020, I lost my best friend to suicide, and then I lost one of my pledge brothers to suicide in the same 10-day span. At that point, me and one of my best friends at the time, Will Smith, along with some other of my fraternity brothers, got together and we said, hey, you know, nobody talks about suicide. We need to get all these guys in the room to talk about mental health. It's a lot to get a bunch of guys in a room to talk about their feelings, right? So we said, let's get a boxing event, and then we'll backdoor the mental health into the cause, right? That's how it started. From here, it's branched out a lot of different ways. We support just general men's wellness, general women's wellness, as well as specifically suicide prevention. What we think is it's all tied together into one thing, right? Mental wellness and physical wellness are the same thing. They're just not quite looked at the same way, so we're trying to bring it all into one 360-degree wellness kind of take. Here at Auburn, we were really blessed. We had a really proactive team. A lot of times we do these events in other campuses, and it's kind of like we do it all. We were able to exceed our goal because everybody here, they wanted the event to come, right? And so they got a head start. And when they approached us, they actually said, hey, we have a venue, we have sponsors, and we'd like you to come here. And that's the coolest thing, to see the passion and energy behind it.
For Eagle Eye TV, I'm Jack Sublette.
Half of the proceeds from the event go towards East Alabama Health's Mental Health Center, while the other half will go towards the Samuel L. Asbury Foundation to promote mental health awareness. To learn more about their mission and future events, visit their website at thefightingagainstsuicide.com.
This past Friday, the Auburn University Engineering Makerspace hosted a Basics of Blender workshop. The workshop aimed to teach students how to use the 3D modeling software Blender, which is used by both artists and engineers. This was one of the several workshops that the Makerspace hosts. We spoke with Maker Assistant Colin Woods. As he said, the goal of the workshops is to teach students how to better utilize the equipment and tools the Makerspace has to offer.
I guess like my target audience, just anyone who just wants to do it just for fun. That's how I started learning Blender. That's how most people really pick it up. As far as like any future workshops, I may do a few more workshops, maybe going into any more like in-depth knowledge I might have gained in Blender. For anyone who really does workshops, the goal is kind of different. You might not be able to really put on a resume, but it's something fun that you can do and just essentially use it to make use of some of the machines and tools we have around the Makerspace.
Auburn University's Native American and Indigenous Alliance held their Spring Cultural Festival last Saturday. Eagle Eye reporter Morgan Sims attended the event, and she'll tell us more.
The Native American and Indigenous Alliance organization held their first Spring Cultural Festival, where their mission was to educate the Auburn community about Native American culture. The event kicked off with the Grand Entry, which includes traditional dancing and intertribal dancing, where people from all different tribes join together to perform a song. This is the first Native American and Indigenous Alliance Festival at Auburn University, with its main goal being to promote and educate the community about the Indigenous and Native American culture. Vendors sold and showcased their food, jewelry, personal art, carvings, and dream catchers, which were mostly all handmade from natural elements. Emily Day, president of NAIA and of Native American Heritage, wants people to know that Native American people have impacted our lives more than we may know.
Auburn is a land-grant university, and so that means we are on land that wasn't originally Auburn's land. So we're on Muskogee Creek lands. And so just to educate students in the community about who was here before us and that Native Americans are still here, because a lot of students don't recognize that Native Americans still exist.
Along with immersive experiences, many stories were told. Eric Sapernetti unveiled a story about the origins of the Uchi River an hour south of Auburn.
In the olden times, 2 Indian boys had gotten caught in the undercurrent and drowned, and they attributed it to the tie knot snake. And if you look up that myth, you can see the background of that.
One of the many successes of the festival was Nancy Massey's jewelry collection. She is vice chief of the Achota Cherokee Tribe of Alabama and got to showcase a lifelong project of hers.
I've been making jewelry for about 10 years. I bought my shed 4 years ago, and it's my traveling pop-up jewelry box. And my mother influenced me growing up, and just stringing beads, we made jewelry out of all kinds of things, all kinds of elements. And I just love beadwork.
Wado means thank you in Cherokee, which was one of the many terms that I learned from different Native American tribes. So Wado for joining us, and for Eagle Eye TV, I'm Morgan Sims.
Feeling a little stressed out with the end of the semester and finals coming up? What better way to release some stress than getting a visit from man's best friend? On Tuesday, Eagle Eye reporter Ethan Clements attended a therapy dog visit in Thatch Hall, hosted by Auburn Psi Chi Honor Society, Tri Beta Honor Society, and Neuroscience Club. Students in attendance were able to meet Sully, a therapy dog for Paws on the Plains, and learn the importance of therapy dogs in different environments.
So we're hosting a therapy dog visit today. The Psi Chi Honor Society, Tri Beta Honor Society, and Neuroscience Club collaborated to have Paws on the Plains come out with their therapy dog Sully, highlighting like the importance of therapy dogs for individuals who might have ADHD or autism or Down syndrome, and just how important that is. And Sully's awesome, so we've had a great time with him today.
Coming up next is your weather outlook for this week on the Plains with Eagle Eye's one and only Bowman Ivester. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6. We'll be right back.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple? Chop the pineapple.
Nope, I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope, I'm high. Let's order in.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be tornado next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Bowman Ivester here to give you your weather update for this week in the loveliest village on the plains. Let's get right into it. It's been a bit rainy the past 2 days, but according to the forecast for the rest of the week, things are starting to look up. The sun will be back out tomorrow, bringing a cool high of 67 and a low of 40. Wednesday is also going to be sunny with a high of 71 and a low of 46. Thursday will be our warmest day of the week here with mostly sunny skies and a high of 75 degrees and a low of 53. Friday will cool back off a bit. Skies will be mostly sunny with a high of 71 and a low of 46. Let's get into the weekend. This Saturday will bring us sunny skies with a high of 67 and a low of 44 that night. Sunday will also bring sunny skies and temps will jump back up to a high of 74 and a low of 50. That's all I have for your weather outlook, but when we come back, you'll get your national update from Lucas and Sophie back at the desk. From Eagle Eye News, I'm Bowman Ivester. Stay tuned for more.
We need to go meet the guys. I'm lit. Can you drive?
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive? Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope. Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different.
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive? I'm toasted.
Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different.
Or that the projections would be flood next Thursday?
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. This could be another rough day for retirement funds. After S&P 500, Dow, and NASDAQ futures plunged yesterday, analysts say the reason is sweeping new tariffs from President Donald Trump. Republican Congressman Don Bacon says he'll introduce a bill today that would rein in Trump's tariff powers. He says it faces a tough road in the House, but it might get enough bipartisan votes to pass in the Senate without anything to stop them. The Trump administration says new tariffs will be sticking around. Amy Kiley reports on the moves giving investors headaches.
The tariffs are coming.
The Trump administration is doubling down on tariffs as stock markets around the world plunge. Those in Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Australia, and New Zealand report early losses today. Tumbles in U.S. stock futures yesterday follow back-to-back sell-offs last week.
I went back and I looked for drops of 15% with a president who was inheriting a bull market. There's only one dude on your screen. It's Donald John Trump.
Here's the president responding last night when asked about the market volatility.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something.
A universal 10% tariff on all imports is now in effect after starting on Saturday. This Wednesday, additional duties on products from dozens of countries are set to begin.
There is no postponing. They are definitely going to stay in place for days and weeks.
President Donald Trump says he only wants to make deals with countries that close trade deficits with the U.S. He insists tariffs will be good for Americans in the end and predicts a resurgence of U.S. manufacturing. Experts agree the duties might help certain domestic producers, but most mainstream economists say they will also lead to higher prices.
Basically, at this point, you average all these different companies together who put forecasts out on the chance of a recession. It's about 50-50.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
While there was a slight risk today for severe storms for parts of the southeast, the bigger concern is for flooding following days of rain across the South and Midwest. Over 12 million people are currently under flood warnings. Over a foot of rain has fallen over the Mid-South since Wednesday. In Kentucky, the widespread flooding triggered evacuations and water rescues across the state. The Kentucky River is expected to crest in Frankfort at a new record of 49.5 feet, which is the highest level since 1978. Governor Andy Beshear declared a state of emergency last week. Over a dozen daily rainfall records were also set in Arkansas and Tennessee over the weekend. At least 19 people have died across 7 states due to the storms.
The Supreme Court has temporarily paused a deadline to return a Maryland man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. The High Court agreed to a request from President Donald Trump to give both sides more time to make their arguments. The decision means that Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia will stay in prison in El Salvador for now. The government has claimed that he is part of the MHS-13 gang, which his attorneys deny. An immigration judge granted Abrego Garcia protected status in 2019, which means the government was prohibited from sending him to El Salvador. His case marks the first time the administration admitted to an error related its recent deportation flights to the Central American nation. From the court to the diamond, Eagle Eye's Cohen Dalzell's got an Auburn sports update for you coming off the big weekend. Auburn fought tooth and nail against the Gators and the Crimson Tide, and you can hear all about it after the break. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6. We'll be right back.
My parents weren't fluent in English, so in school, I had to be independent and take initiative, and that's how I handle every project I get.
Hey, Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
I'd love to, but I'm pretty busy with all this.
Yeah. Hey, let's meet our retirement coach, Avo. A is for taking action.
Not anxiety?
No, Kevin, you're gonna be fine.
You sing?
Barely. V is for variety.
And you dance?
Sort of. Come on. O is for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Cohen Dalzell, back to give you a recap on all of the stories that happened in Auburn sports last week, from San Antonio to the Plains. Let's get started. Auburn men's basketball traveled to San Antonio to take on Florida in the Final Four. Auburn fought for 40 minutes against the Gators, leading at the half before eventually falling to the Walter Clayton-led Florida team 79-73. Chad Baker-Mazzara led the Tigers with 18 points and 4 steals. Wooden Award runner-up Janai Broom had 15 points and 7 rebounds, and Denver Jones added 10 points of his own. Despite their performance, Gators guard Walter Clayton Jr. scored 34 in the game and sent Florida to the national championship game, which is being played tonight. The loss ends Auburn's greatest season in school history, ending with a program best 32 wins and 6 losses, while winning the SEC regular season title in the hardest conference in NCAA history. The squad also reached the program's second Final Four appearance in the school's history. This, along with numerous conference and national accolades for players and coaches, gives this team the pedestal for the best in Tigers men's hoops history. A thank you to all of the seniors and student athletes for their commitment and dedication to Auburn this season, and congratulations on an unforgettable year. After losing their second game of the season to the UAB Blazers on Tuesday, Auburn baseball found their stride for the rivalry series with 8th-ranked Alabama over the weekend. Auburn scorched Alabama on Friday behind 7 innings of scoreless baseball from starting pitcher Samuel Dutton, as well as 15 hits. The Tigers mercy ruled the Tide at 10-0 in 7 innings in front of a record crowd of 6,729 fans at Plainsman Park. Due to weather on Sunday, the two teams decided to play a doubleheader Saturday to finish out the series. Alabama took the first of 2 with 2 runs in the 9th inning, winning 6-5, but the Tigers struck back to win the series behind a 4-run first inning, winning 7-5. Auburn plays in Atlanta against Georgia Tech tomorrow before hosting 3rd-ranked LSU this weekend at Plainsman Park. Auburn softball traveled to Lexington to take on Kentucky this past weekend, getting back on track after a couple of rough weekends and winning the series. The Lady Tigers took Game 1 in a low-scoring 2-1 thriller, with Auburn scoring the winning run in the top of the 7th to top the Wildcats. Kentucky took Game 2 4-3 before Auburn took the rubber match in a repeat of the first game, with the Tigers scoring in the 5th inning to down Kentucky 2-1 in the game and the series. Auburn hosts UAB for a doubleheader this Wednesday at Jamie Moore Field before hosting Georgia this weekend for another series in SEC play. That is all I have for you tonight. Stay tuned after the break, because when we come back, you'll get the latest update on the TikTok ban deadline and hear from Lucas and Sophie about a recent warning from the World Health Organization. I'm Cohen Dalzell for Eagle Eye Sports, and you are watching Eagle Eye News at 6. We'll be right back.
We need to go meet the guys. I'm lit. Can you drive?
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive? Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope. Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different.
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive? I'm toasted.
Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different.
Or that the projections would be flood next Thursday?
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency.
The World Health Organization says recent aid cuts can undo decades of progress in helping women survive pregnancy and childbirth. In a statement today, the World Health Organization said the sudden loss in funding is having drastic repercussions on pregnant women in multiple countries. The agency said that between 2000 and 2023, maternal death rates declined by 40% globally. But the slashing of humanitarian aid earlier this year could halt that progress. Countries are now having to cut back on vital services for pregnant women and newborns. Clinics are being closed and healthcare workers laid off. The aid cuts have also impacted supply chains that get life-saving supplies and medicines to areas at risk for maternal death. The most dramatic cuts occurred in the U.S., which was the largest single donor to reproductive health programs overseas. In January, the Trump administration froze those funds, halting all monies going to U.S. aid.
President Donald Trump has delayed enforcement of a law that would ban TikTok while his staff works on a deal to maintain access to the app in the United States. Friday, Trump announced the deadline has been extended for 75 days. In a social media post, the president said his administration is working hard on a deal to, quote, save TikTok. The news comes ahead of the April 5th deadline. Last year, former President Joe Biden signed a law that required the China-based parent company to sell the app or face a U.S. ban. The law was set to go into effect in January, but Trump delayed it. The Friday announcement comes as the U.S. and China go head-to-head in an escalating trade war. Both sides have increased tariffs, but Trump said he might lower tariffs on Chinese imports if Beijing agrees to a TikTok deal.
April is Parkinson's Awareness Month, and nearly 90,000 people in the U.S. are diagnosed with the disease every year, according to the Parkinson's Foundation. Because many early symptoms may be subtle or not specific to one disease, health officials believe many people are living with the illness without knowing it. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has the warning signs of Parkinson's disease that everyone should know.
Behind Alzheimer's disease, it's the second most common neurodegenerative disorder in the U.S. Parkinson's disease affects the central nervous system, causing people to have difficulty controlling their bodies, and it worsens over time.
We actually lose about 80 to 90% of our cells, these cells, what we call dopaminergic cells, before we even notice the symptoms of this disease.
Dr. Sanjeet Graywal with Mayo Clinic says one of the earliest signs can be a slight tremor or shakiness, sometimes in your thumb, index finger, or chin.
One thing that's important to know with Parkinson's is often it's asymmetric, which means it starts with symptoms on one side and then can develop to having symptoms on both sides.
In addition, other warning signs include stiffness, difficulty with movement, freezing of gait where a person has a hard time starting to walk, a face that becomes expressionless, the person can no longer show emotions, speech may become softer, and writing may start to look smaller. There may also be a sleep disorder that develops.
Where patients will start acting out their dreams and they'll start to get very, very physical in their dreams.
Graywal says patients may also develop a stooped posture, like they're leaning forward. There may be blood pressure issues, a persistent loss of the sense of smell, and dizziness when the person stands up. Constipation may also be a problem.
If we can catch it early, we can treat it early.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, that's all we've got time for tonight, but for more Auburn news, please check out our social media and our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, as well as our social media pages. My name is Lucas Hazelrig.
And I am Sophie Porter. Thank you for watching, and War Eagle.
Yeah, Sam, Elmo.